Okay, everybody, welcome. Let's talk about the gate that we are in right now. So we've already transited into gate 12. We've been in it now for a couple days. Um, but it's a really great one and it has some good juiciness. So I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to talk about it. So first of all, in the I Ching, it's called the gate, it's called standstill. And then in the Gene Keys, it's a pure heart. In human design, it's caution. And so I really want to address, first of all, it's a gate that's in the throat chakra. So we're going to talk about its relationship to the throat in just a second. Um, and then I kind of want to break down the elements that are here and how it plays into what this gate really talks about. So the full expression of this gate or the purpose of this gate is really about deep alignment with truth, self-worth, self-confidence, and our creative expression, our that sacral alignment with source that allows us to open up and move our creativity, our expression through the throat, our ability to speak our truth. And so it's really about divine timing. It's about making sure that we're listening for when is the appropriate time to speak our truth, when people are ready to receive what we're here to say, um, and noticing when we are maybe trying to push our thoughts and our ideas and our creative expression into the world instead of, sorry, that was a bug, instead of alignment. And alignment would allow the expression to move through the body instead of being pushed down from those upper mental centers and out. So let's talk a little bit first about the elements of the skate. So it's a metal over earth energy. And so metal in its higher expression is really our ability to um, be the architect. It's metal really appreciates beauty and art and expression. It's meticulous. It has organization. It puts things in order. It's the best friend that always knows the right place to go, the best food somewhere. But also, our metal energy is what allows us to kind of put things in order in our lives, create that structure that it takes for us to be fully artistic, for us to um, express. And so when I was in college, I got a minor. One of my minors is in photography, and I ended up going through the tech department. So my minor is actually in technology with a concentration in photography and ceramics. But what was really great, what I wanted to say about that is the technology side of that held the container. Um, I learned the techniques. I learned how to really deeply understand what the technology of photography was and how to work with it. And understanding the systems and the architecture of photography allowed me to have creative expression, right? So as the boundary, kind of that yang energy, that masculine energy of boundaries and knowing the system that allows us to have this deep, full creative expression. That's a very metal energy, right? And so it's metal. Um, and when our metal is in its lower vibration, that's really like around judgment, self-criticism, criticism in general. It kind of we can project, right? Judgment, right? Like um, and so that metal sits on top of earth, and so we have this outward expression of metal, and then we have this more unconscious yin expression of earth going on in this hexagram. And the earth energy is actually tied to the throat chakra. So the metal is going to be tied to the solar plexus, and the meridians of that are the lungs and the large intestine. So metal really allows us that ability to have self-confidence, to have self-worth, to release the old and take in the new, to really know our value so that we can release what's no longer serving that and be inspired by the new. And then we have this relationship with earth, which has an overlap with the solar plexus and then is also tied to the throat chakra, and that's the stomach and the spleen meridians. So from that perspective, we're really looking, earth is really about our what I call the archetype of the guardian, which is this that deep nurturing energy that we have, the internal drive to create sustainable and loving relationships, the ability to really have compassion and tenderness and kindness and nurturing nourishment for ourselves and for others. So in its highest vibration, it's really about that devotion and nurturing. And in its lower vibration, it's really about worry. It's like the helicopter mom. It's where we over worry about our people. We over worry about being seen. Often when our earth energy gets out of balance, we might be worried about like people rejecting us, or because we don't totally value ourselves. We might be in people pleasing mode. And so these are the two elements that we're working with when we're looking at this particular gate. And I think it's really interesting because this gate 12 is really asking us to find this deep alignment with source, this the structure of metal, that inner self knowing. Sorry, my papers are flying away. That deep inner knowing that actually is the structure that allows for what I would say is discernment, or our impeccable words, and then to allow the full expression of self when it's really in alignment from the root to the throat, and then allowing the brain and the inspiration to come through, trusting in divine timing in what we're here to express, how we're here to express it, when people are ready to receive it, and really being able to listen to this particular um, this particular part of us that really we tend to want to push. So I wanted to talk here. I know where I was going with that. I wanted to talk about like the difference between power versus force. There's a whole book in kinesiology on that, and it's like there's a difference between being in your power and allowing what comes through to be said, and force, which is like I'm forcing something into being. I'm I I'm not in alignment fully with my integrity. And so I might be wanting more connection than people are ready to give me. I might be wanting to push my idea into the world. And so this is also a gate of patience, right? It's like take, taking in a deep breath, checking the gates of communication. Like, do I really need to say it? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And and then if so, if it's the right time and it's necessary and it's kind, then expressing. And when this gate gets out of balance, we're really looking at the struggle to articulate. If you can't really articulate it, then it's not quite timing. And so throughout the gates, as we study these gates, it talks a little bit about shyness being a component of not quite ready to speak what we're here to say, and being knowing the difference between shyness that might come from not feeling safe, and the shyness that comes from I'm not ready to say that. I'm not, and I know that, and I trust myself to lean into divine timing, to be guided when the right time to speak or express is. And so there's also this undercurrent to this, which is really about creative expression. It's how can we get playful? How can we get so aligned, and we can open up this alignment between the solar plexus and the throat chakra, and really get playful with creative expression? Where can we let loose a little bit and let go of self-judgment, and let go of um, whether or not somebody's going to receive our creative expression well, and just allow it to bubble up, allow it to come out. And so there's also an ask in this to get a little playful with creativity. And so your homework with this gate, right? Like what can we do to work with the gate? It's one to look at where in your life you might be struggling to speak something into existence right now, or someone's not quite hearing you right now, that there's it might not be the right time. It might not be divine timing because they can't receive it. And so it doesn't matter how much you speak it, they're not going to hear it very well. So looking around in your relationships, looking around, and in your own self judgments, your own self criticism, where could or where are you maybe trying to push agenda through sound or creativity or expression, when it just needs a little space and time to get in alignment fully with what's really there to be said. So looking at relationships, looking at how often you might want to speak first, think later. A little bit of fire in me, it might be like that a little bit. So you might want to just look at, like, are you being asked to kind of shh and just be in silence, be stillness, and observe, observe what's here, observe what needs to be said. Um, and I think the rest of your homework would be to use that creative expression. So let go of all of the self-judgment, let go of that place where we can't, I was actually painting with two of my good buddies the other day, and just observing how hard it was for me to just let go and paint. And now this gate is pretty active for me, and also Metal and Libra have a love relationship where my perfectionism, remembering that you guys have probably heard me say I have some major gates, my conscious sun, in that perfectionism, or that really judgment, but it's self-critical, right? So it's like letting that go and just painting, like let it flow. Let what needs to come through without me trying to force, and align with true power. So get creative, allow yourself to be creative. This is a time that we really want to open the throat chakra and support the thyroid through creative expression. What are you here to express? And then noticing what comes up for you, what needs to be healed, what kind of self judgments might you find yourself leaning into. So that's gate 12. We're in that for a little while longer, and I'll be back soon with more updates. See you soon.